What's happening?
He's scrolling.
There we go.
Good morning, Melrosians the world over. I'm Tom Catalini.
And I'm Tom Shampoo.
And I'm Jen LeClaire.
And this is Let's Talk Melrose. Melrose, a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose. And every once in a while, we are inspired by the Queen of England of yesteryear. Meaning Queen Victoria.
Oh, Victoria, of course.
Oh, gotcha.
Queen Victoria, born Princess Alexandria Victoria, and she died on 22nd of January, 1901. So
Wow.
we are, 122 years past her passing, still celebrating with the Victorian Fair in Melrose, all the time period appropriate festivities with fried dough and
sausage and peppers and onions.
Good Indian food
and bank pens
and bank pens, yes,
and bank pens, right, and buttons.
Celebrate Queen Victoria in many ways.
Yeah, so her legacy lives on, which is awesome, and Melrose is sort of the epicenter.
Yes, absolutely. I hope we definitely would have made her proud yesterday. Shout out! I know she's watching. Stephanie Nelson and Kelly and the whole team, including this army of volunteers that you guys had in yellow T-shirts, was super helpful. Every time you needed something, you could always find someone in a cool yellow T-shirt to help you. I was there all day, had a booth with Sam. So I didn't make it very far to the rest of it, but I saw pictures later of all the fun everybody was having up and down the street. It, like every year, went off amazing. It's a lot of fun. You learn a lot. You get to see all the neighbors, everybody, and of course it's an election year, so there's more people. The candidates are out. So it was a good day.
Stephanie and Kelly do a great job. There's a lot of work before, during, and after that happens. And of course, the weather was not fully cooperating, but sort of did. I'll tell you, when I was down there, it did not deter people. It was live. It was fun. People threw on a raincoat, maybe carried an umbrella, maybe just enjoyed a little bit of a sprinkle here and there.
Yeah.
The attendance was high, and it was people were having a blast.
Yeah, and I've participated over a number of years, either
42 out of 42, Jen.
No, not 42 out of 42, but one of the one of the school booths or DI or whatever. But my job was always I might bring a few things, or kind of show up for a shift. This was the first year that I was there right at the get-go, just unloading stuff, and we pretty much unloaded the entire backyard into Sam's booth. So there was a lot of stuff, and again, a well-oiled machine. We, before the streets closed, you got to roll it right down the street in one direction, stop at your booth, unload everything, keep going to the end of the street and move your car. And everyone kind of just came through nice and slow, lots of volunteers around, and the same with how we loaded out. They had to, they actually closed early, about an hour early, because there was a storm coming. And even that was super efficient. Just got everybody packed up, moved people along. Thank you, Tom Champ, for helping us pack up and get stuff out. I actually liked the little bit of rain every now and again too, because normally my experience in the past, it's hard to get everybody's trying to make their booth really engaging, right? And it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get people to stop and chat with you because they kind of walk by and they want to sort of see what's going on. Maybe the kids want to see if you have free candy or something, right? And everybody kind of wants to move on their way. But the little bit of rain, people would duck under the tents, like people would come in and talk to you. So I don't know if they meant to get stuck under there talking to us, but it worked out fine for us. So we had a lot of space.
I I have been thinking about solar panels. Can we talk about that until this shower passes?
Right. I would like to join the YMCA.
I want to give a shout out to LTMM superfan Julie Nolan, who was doing interview time at Center Stage as well. That was nice. She's doing interviews for MMTV, right? I think. And
this is my one regret of the 42nd annual Victorian Fair is between Julie and the star-studded lineup of LTMM, we just simply could not coordinate schedules. It's like trying to get, Mick Jagger and Paul McCartney and Lady Gaga together. Like they all have the best of intentions, but the schedules, the schedules just don't link up.
Pulled in too many directions. It's true.
Yeah. I'm sure we couldn't hear because it was broadcast on TV. And they had bands and kids and everything else, so you couldn't really hear the interviews on Center Stage. But I'm sure she did a great job.
Always.
And you're right. LTMM should have a little spot up there doing a little something, but we couldn't make it.
Well, we were invited, but we couldn't get our own act together to get.
There's a surprise.
I like the show.
There's a shocker.
Is it Sunday already? Oh my God.
Where are we supposed to be? What? Kind of like last year when we ran into CVS at the last second and bought all their candy.
Oh, and one other shout out, Tom, I think you did as well as me, bought our tickets for the gala. October 14th.
Yes.
The gala is coming up. It's only a month away.
I know.
So.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Now I'm gonna get my outfit.
We saw Bill Butler and others selling tickets over there. It was great for them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's like a Rolls Royce you could potentially win a ride in, and you get the tickets downtown. It was great, and looking forward to the gala. Yeah, I think we're about 32 days away.
Yeah. The fall is coming quickly. I'll tell you what. Anyway.
Yes.
Well, all right, we should jump into the news.
Oh yeah, we're doing a show.
Before we jump into the news, we should tell you. That just stay put. Later in the episode, we're going to be talking to Kevin Jerb from the Lions Club of Melrose.
I think we can ask him, but I think that I hope we didn't give away the secret handshake.
Yeah. Well, if they don't have one yet, we'll make one up.
We can. They're probably looking. We'll talk to Kevin, but they're probably looking for some advice. Marketing, branding, community development, and whatnot. Yeah. So this is the place they come to. So that's going to be exciting. I actually don't know much at all about the Lions in Melrose, so I'm looking forward to learning.
I'm going to make a pitch for the Lions blimp overhead, just kind of circling.
I have a feeling that by the end of the show, there may be one more lion in the Lions Club.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
All right. But we are going to move on to news. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And the news is it's raining.
It is raining. Oh my gosh. Where does one start? We've had a pretty wet summer. I think everyone knows that. I actually hike. So you guys know I hike in the woods often. There's some weird...
we all watch the Tom Shampoo Fells special on PBS. Yes.
Yeah, the live streaming hike.
Special.
So I'm in the woods. I'm in the woods a lot. There's a ton of mushrooms this year because it's been so wet. And so they're everywhere.
There's mushrooms on my front lawn, by the way.
Right. And they're like different sizes. There's red, big ones. There's ones that look like a cappuccino. There's white ones. All these crazy mushrooms. Then I saw something the other day that I'd never seen before, which is mushrooms apparently grow this mold spore around it. Looks like a white science fiction creature. It's like a white hair almost, and it grows around the whole mushroom. It's weird. So there's a weird weather thing happening this summer. But yes, we had heavy rains come through, and some pretty severe rains came through the middle part of the state, Leominster and other areas. I think folks saw the news on that.
Fitchburg and Leominster, Tomcat and I had to check on our people.
You get people
in Central Mass. But I'll tell you what, people are kind of aware. And if you've watched the Boston news or the national news, you've heard about the storms and the lead that's coming. But nowhere but LTMM do you get the complexity in the full color picture with the mushroom that is also growing fungi.
I mean, a mold spore of some sort.
Mold spores.
That's right. I should have brought pictures because I took pictures of it.
It's good. You took a national story and localized it. Right here in the Fells, there's mushrooms.
There's a lot of rain, but we have mushrooms.
That's the joy that I bring to the show. I'm glad to do it.
All right. All right. So in other news that you may have heard elsewhere first, the FDA, we are also announcing that the FDA has approved new COVID vaccines, and they might be rolled out as early as next week. And I did learn that they are recommending, CDC is recommending ages 6 months and up. Basically, everybody should get it. They were talking about how not many people, took the vaccine last year when it was available, and they're recommending it for everyone. But it's curious to learn what the uptake will be. And of course, my recommendation is to take it. And I have to research if you've recently had COVID, what should you do in terms of taking it. But it was, 2 week plus journey, kind of coming out of that. So I would recommend the vaccine.
Yeah, I was thinking of you. That vaccine came out, 3 weeks too late for you.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be the way it goes, but hopefully it encourages
time to take the vaccine.
Hopefully it encourages other people to go, and we'll stem the tide here.
And locally, I'm sure all the pharmacies and stores, CVS and Walgreens and others will be offering shots. I've gotten a shot at the local CVS in Melrose. I've also gotten a vaccine elsewhere, like Malden. So that'll all be up and running, I'm sure, again, very soon for folks.
Yeah. If you are exhibiting COVID symptoms, please stay away from any of our 3 Melrose mayoral candidates for the next week, the Melrose, because they are already running very tired, I assure you. Everybody's working really hard out there. There's 1 week till Election Day, a week from tonight. There will be, the LTMM is going to take the night off next week. We have been pretty careful about not covering the specifics of the race. So we're just going to let you know, we just are covering kind of like, remember to vote. Here's how you early vote. This year, because of our affiliations, we've stayed away from covering specifics about any of the candidates. But the 3 candidates for mayor are Jen Grigoritis, Monica Medeiros Solano, and Sam Hammer. So
yes, we do apologize that the typical in-depth investigative reporting that you would normally expect. We've lift our foot off the pedal slightly, just to we're going to coast through this because yes, we have a favorite. We have a favorite candidate.
Yes.
And so we're going to take next week off, even on election night, and we'll see how all the results come. But the most important thing is, if you haven't voted already, which you might have, like I did on one of the early days, and many people have, make sure on September 19th, which is next Tuesday, a week from tonight. I know you're preoccupied. It's Talk Like a Pirate Day also. But they don't need to clash. They don't need to overlap. You go to the middle school between, is it 7 a.m. and 8 p.m.?
Yep.
7 a.m., 8 p.m. Yes, 8 p.m. polls close.
Yep.
Oh, I'm reading your script. Sorry.
No, I was in my script. That's just fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So tonight there's that several groups have hosted forums. There was the Dems Forum, there was the Racial Justice Community Coalition, the Melrose Creative Alliance Forum on Arts and Culture. Tonight, the candidates are probably just finishing up with the Melrose Education Association had a forum with all 3 candidates. And next Monday, CPAC, the Melrose Special Education Parents Advisory Council, is hosting a forum. It'll be the last one before the preliminary. It's the night before the election. So no rest for any of these guys. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then also MMTV, I'd be remiss to our great friends at MMTV also posted one-on-one Q&As with each of the candidates, with Professor Tedros Kairos, host of African Ascent International. Sorry. So there's a link there. You can see individual interviews with each of the candidates. They all 3 also have web pages. So if you're still uncertain, check it out and make sure you vote next week.
Excellent. I'm reading the Franklin Market building demolition and construction is going to begin this week in the Highlands. Now, who knows more than that? I didn't know about this project.
So. Oh, you're reading it. So
I'm reading it. I'm like, well, let's take a look at this.
Well, what I'm reading is that the planned redevelopment of the site was approved by the planning board in June 2022, and the completed building called the Ella is expected to be finished by December 2024.
Excellent.
Who gets to name the buildings on these
Yeah.
projects? Is it the Melrose Planning Department, or is it the developer, or do they
Oh,
have
I think-
meetings about this? I would like to
I-
be in those. It would be fun to be in those meetings.
I think the developer. I used to work in Washington D.C. It was actually Arlington, Virginia, a section of it called Crystal City,
Mm,
and it was a huge swath of high rises and a whole development. And the developer's daughter's name was Crystal. That's how it became
there
called
you
Crystal
go.
City.
That's
There you
it.
go.
Crystal City. That's amazing.
So there's an Ella
So
somewhere who's
yeah,
responsible for that.
exactly. If we can get the link, because it shows images of the proposed
I have it
mixed
right here.
use.
Mhm.
Okay, it's a
Put that
mixed
right in here
it's
now.
a mixed use project because it's right by public transit and up there in the Highlands. For those who can't picture where we're talking about, it's the Franklin Street Market and Fit Life and Faulkner's, I think it's Faulkner's Dry Cleaners is right there. So it's that kind of that area but on the corner specifically. So where the market is. So the plan is for that retail space to be that ground floor retail space will be completely redone. They're hoping the market actually will move back in. The developer's working with the market to move back in, and then two or three floors of residential above, and then some parking kind of behind.
Wait a minute. This is not too far from like where Domino's is.
Yeah.
And
Right.
isn't there
Yeah.
like a VFW up behind there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is
Yeah.
this
Right.
yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right where Tremont comes out onto Franklin is where I think that is, right? right near there.
Yeah.
It's like opposite the train tracks from La Cuchara. And well, actually the other side of the street. So it's
Right.
What's the
opposite,
hubbub on this? It's a nice looking building.
It is, yeah. I don't know much about it, so I'm going
There's hubbub about everything. No, I haven't followed. The only time I really haven't followed it that much. The only time I follow building projects is when there's like placemaking opportunities around it or associated with it in some ways. I mean, I follow a little bit, but not with this one. I haven't. I've been busy.
Well, I'm reading that Franklin Market plans to move back in, and that the building includes green features such as electric high-efficiency appliances, solar, electric vehicle chargers, and on-site bicycle storage.
nice.
I'm sure there's a debate on this because there's, like you said, there's debate on every
There's always debate.
project.
I'm going to gently move us forward because
Thank
Kevin's
you.
waiting. I want to get going. We have some arts and some
Sure.
culture events coming up to it.
Yeah, so my favorite one, for obvious reasons, the Melrose Creative Alliance. We've been the teams have been really busy in September. So last week we hosted the forum. This week we're hosting something called Creative Connect. It's an opportunity for artists and arts organizations and people with great creative ideas to come to MMTV and learn about funding opportunities for arts and culture in Melrose. This is part of our Creative Connect series where we're trying to help provide artists with resources and professional development. After you're done with that, you can go support the Melrose Band by going to get some ice cream at Sox Ice Cream. They're having a fundraiser. They're open till 10.
Sox is fantastic.
It is fantastic. Thursday, the Follow Your Art Writers Group hosts a poetry writing workshop. You can make chocolate truffles with Yara chocolates on Saturday at Paper and Clay. You can check out Coffee Shop Artists, currently on view at the Beebe Estate, also on Saturday. And then on Sunday, Rosie and I are going to a cheese making workshop at the kitchen. I'm really exciting. So there'll be a full report next week on Rosie and I.
Does that start? I'm going to, because I think it starts with cream and then goes to butter and then you have to keep going to cheese. I'm fascinated to see where this, goes.
Something about curd. I don't know.
Heavily document that. But next week,
can make some poutine.
Next week we're off for the election, so maybe.
Oh, that's right.
So in 2 weeks.
Right. So in 2 weeks, my full report about my cheese making experience at the kitchen. Stay tuned. I'll be the special guest.
All right.
All right.
Excellent. Well, let's bring on our guest.
Yes, do it.
Over to bring Kevin on. Here we are.
There he is.
Hey, Kevin, how are you? Kevin Erb.
Good evening.
Hi.
Kevin Erb is the president of the Melrose Lions organization.
I am not up for or running for re-election.
Oh boy. Oh, there's So is there an election? Is there a hotter race than the Melrose mayoral race happening right now that the people need to know about?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But it could heat up later.
All right. Listen, Kevin, welcome to the show. I think you've met all the co-hosts previously, but we're excited to
Yes,
have
I
you
have.
on in this capacity to learn a little bit more about the Lions Club. So I don't know much about it. I don't know if you have a physical location, how
Yeah.
many people are
Well,
in it, what's the mission.
if,
We'd love to hear it all.
if I'd love to give you some background. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate that. But the history of the Lions Club really starts with the original founding club, which was founded in 1917 in Chicago. The Lions Club in Melrose was founded only 8 years later in 1926. So we're getting close to 100 years old now. And I feel it sometimes, but the Lions International has over 1.5 million members. There are Lions clubs in over 200 countries. And the original purpose of the Lions Club, when they formed in the early part of the last century, they were a bunch of people who wanted to do good things in their community, but they were a little concerned or confused as to what they should do. So they had a speaker. That speaker was Helen Keller, and
Wow.
she said to these people that a focus would be blindness, the prevention of blindness. So that was originally the focus of the Lions Club, and it still is part of our focus today. I'm proud to say that the Melrose Lions Club has donated in excess of $100,000 to the local research hospitals here that are doing eye research. And that's one of the things we're particularly proud of. I can explain to you a little bit about the process. They're looking for grant money, and in order for them to get grant money, they need something called seed money. And that's where they use and develop the program, and they get some data from that. And from that, then they apply for the grant. But they need that seed money.
That's
And
some of the most. I think a lot of people don't always readily understand that's some of the most important money in fundraising. You need that seed money to get started, do a proof of concept, get some data, like you said, and then attract other investors.
Well, we have been told, and I should have written it down, that for every dollar we donate, they get like 10 or 15 or $50 back from the grant. Wow. So it's really pretty awesome. But the focus of the club has not changed, but it's grown as well, because we're now not just simply interested in preventing blindness, which is what we do. But we've added some other worthwhile causes, and I just thought I would list some of them. And the first one I have down here is the Mayor's Relief Fund. We give to any mayor. We don't care who wins, who loses. We make a donation every year to Relief Fund. We donate to the High School Scholarship Fund, the Bread of Life, different boosters, the Hall of Fame. We have an Adopt-A site. We've donated to the Upham's House. I could go on and on with the things that we do and the places that we've donated to. Also, one of the things that we do is we collect eyeglasses, and it's a program that's been going on forever. And what happens is we collect these eyeglasses. I believe the Lexington Club gives them to the local sheriff up there. They have inmates look at the glasses. They can tell what the prescription is by these machines. They note what the glasses are, and then they're shipped all over the world. Oh, cool. And somebody is going to get a pair of glasses and put them on and see clearly for the first time in their life.
Wow, that is good to know. I've gone through a string of glasses, and I keep all the old ones, so I'm going to have to bring them over to the Lions.
Well, that's just one of the things. If you want to talk about eyeglasses, one of the things that we've been doing for years, and I got a call not all that long ago from a Melrose principal in one of the middle schools. A new family had moved into town. The child had broken his glasses, and they could not afford to get a new pair of glasses. So they heard about us, and they called, and we said, yes, that's what we do. We set up an appointment with an optometrist.
Oh, wow.
They receive free glasses. Now, we're not going to give them Gucci frames or anything, but this student was able to go back to his studies and was able to read. And we do that all the time. We used to get calls from a guy named Marty Stanton. I'm not sure what Marty's doing these days, but he calls on a regular basis. Some kid needs glasses, and yeah. So we do a lot of those things. And the reason I'm here, it's not, to brag a little bit, but when an organization has been in business for 100 years, which we're about to be, it constantly has to be restored. People have to join. People have to come in. And we are at that point now where we need new members. We need those people who came to Melrose because they really appreciate the community. A lot of people come here, not just for the beautiful buildings, but because of things like the Victorian Fair. I was talking to a friend of mine. He said, I was amazed how many people showed up to the Victorian Fair in the rain.
Right.
But because there's a community here. People come to Melrose to be part of the community, and the community is people. I mean, when I think of a guy like Tom, who is a neighbor of mine, who I actually ended up meeting because of a block party. We got to, and then he's a musician. I'm a musician. He says, "Hey, they got a thing down at the KC." So I'm going down to the KC and I'm jamming with them. This is what I'm talking about. There are people in this town that bring life and vitality to it, apart from the buildings, apart from anything else. And I'm asking those people, particularly the new people who have come into town, who want to contribute to join the Lions Club.
All right. So,
okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so what does it look like for a potential member? So first of all, we're pretty sure, I think you were having some difficulty connecting in earlier, but we're pretty sure we guessed the secret handshake. So I figure we all get in a room and we go, "Arr."
I think that's pretty indicative of one of the issues with the club. There are guys like me who are trying to work computers, and I have no idea. I need some new people, some people who actually understand what buttons to push and when to push them, because I really don't.
Yeah.
But one of the things, one of the events that we used to have was something called the Eye Opener Brunch. We had this for over 30 years. And when the pandemic came along, well, we're not, feeding anybody, but that was a great fundraiser for us. Right now, we would have difficulty doing that again. We would have it at the Knights of Columbus Hall. We didn't make much money on the brunch itself. We had people come in. We advertised mostly at some of the nursing homes, some of the apartment buildings, because it was a pretty cheap meal. We also provided real maple syrup, but we made the money on we made the money on the ads that the business community, which is also unbelievably supportive of people.
Right. I mean, the Victorian Fair, I don't know if we mentioned this. We mentioned Stephanie and Kelly, but it's the Chamber of Commerce and the businesses of Melrose that put that on.
And we have made a donation to the Chamber of Commerce. I will say that as well. But my point is, yes, exactly. So we're looking for new people to come into the town to help us to continue the service that we've been doing. It also would be kind of cool to join us now, because we are about to celebrate 100 years. We need new leadership. We need people to come in and take positions of authority and to guide us into the next century, which is really what we're planning to do.
Are you looking for a fundraising? I'm sorry about that, Kevin.
Well, we do pretty good fundraising.
Okay.
It's the actual physical. We'll be all opening the football concession stand Friday. One of my favorite things that we do.
You can pick it up and say, "I'm being interviewed by LTMM right now."
Yeah.
Call you back.
And I just clicked that. See, and it's remarkable. We have a little jar off to the side, and people come up and they'll buy their hot dog, and oftentimes people will make a donation. And I have seen this. I can't tell you how many times. There'll be a kid standing behind, and they'll look at and say, "Well, why did they do that? Why did?" And I'll explain to them that they just gave us $1.50, and that's going to go, and maybe we'll buy medicine. There's in Africa, there's something called river blindness, and it's curable, it's treatable. Well, I explained to this kid that maybe some of that money is going to go to buy some medicine, and a kid you'll never see will take a pill, and he'll be able to see for the rest of his life. And they just kind of go, whoa, and they put money in the jar. It's like if you're there to witness something like that, it gives you a feeling that it carries you through other things in life that sometimes are difficult to bear. One of the other things, and I don't want to monopolize the conversation, one of the other things is that we used to have at the Victorian Fair was something called the I-Mobile. We would drive up with this huge Winnebago. I love driving that thing because, well, you could just drive all over the road with it. But it was difficult to maintain. It broke down a lot. So they changed the approach. What the I-Mobile would be is we would have people come in, we take their blood pressure, we check their eye pressure, and there was a doctor at the back who would put them through a test. And on occasion, with this free screening, we would detect people who had serious eye problems that they didn't realize. There was pressure building up in their eyes. They might have had macular degeneration coming on. And we would then send them on their way to someone where they could see. We need people to help us now staff that, because they do it differently now. The machines, everybody says, oh, I can't run on those machines. If you can push, if you can push a button, you can run one of these machines.
The age of George Jetson has
Thank you
arrived.
so much.
Hey, I think Tom Shampoo has a burning question. I want to hear what he
Yes.
was saying.
Thank you, Tom. I mean, it's back to the fundraising, but I wanted to get a sense of sort of if you are looking for new members, what the members will be doing. How many events are you looking, or how many fundraising events are you looking to do, or if that's indeed what they'll be participating in? But I just want to get a sense of what someone's year would look like if they're on the board or
As
on
a
the
lion.
Yes. Well, you see, one of the nice things about that is that we do have certain events that are planned. But what I am looking for are people to come in with new ideas. There are 2 golf courses in Melrose. We've never had a golf tournament. I don't play, by the way. I mean, for me, the ball is much too small. But people have 5K, races. I like to have somebody join and organize that. I am not a runner. I usually need a ball or somebody chasing me with bad intent. Other than that, you won't find me running. So there are lots of different things. But some of the things that we do are we run the concession stand for the football and basketball game. We used to have the eye opener brunch, which we would like to bring back. The I-Mobile is another example of something that we would like to do. And then,
Kevin, we have some burning questions coming in. Linda Granfield is asking,
top fan Linda Granfield.
What's the base number of new members you need? And then her follow-up question is interesting. Are Lions everyone? So many people think organizations like that are for men only.
Oh, I am so glad you asked that question.
Are there lady lions?
The
Lioness.
Or lions who identify any number of ways.
I just had a little discussion with my wife because I was looking for the latest edition of the Lions International magazine, which I could not find. It's probably in the recycling. But the reason I wanted it, because I wanted to hold it up and show the cover of the current president is a woman.
Good.
Oh, nice.
We have had female presidents of the Melrose Lions Club. Unfortunately, when it started back in 1917, let's face it, it was a bunch of men who were the titans of industry. We don't want that anymore. We want everybody. We want all walks of life. Melrose has always, I moved to Melrose in 1986, and Melrose motto back then was one community open to all. But back then, it really wasn't all that obvious. Yeah. It is today.
Yeah.
It really is today. And those are the people who think, oh, I can't join the Lions Club because it's only, men. No, it's not. And so I'm so grateful for that question, because not only do we want women, we want everybody.
And how many people are you looking for? So her other question was, what's the base? So like, how big is the Lions Club, or how big do you want it to be, or how many new people are you looking for?
how many are you offering? How many?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the LTMM
Well, anyone,
effect-
I think the answer, Linda, is like even one can make a difference,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's really about the numbers. It's about the participation, and then we just
Yes.
posted your email so that
Right.
if people want to get in touch, that's in the comments. And
It-
if I can find the banner here, we'll put it up on the show.
Oh, sorry about that.
There you go. Well,
Hey, there you go. We're running the football stand. We're playing. Our opening home game is against Malden Friday night.
Okay.
Come on down.
yeah.
Cook a couple of hot dogs with us. I usually throw them up to the front and they catch them and then they sell them. It's we have a lot of fun. And you know, you could come down and we could discuss that. I'll be happy to answer any emails I get. In terms of the number, the club has fluctuated. There have been 30, 40 people in the club, and it's gone down to 10 people, and then it goes up a little bit. But our problem really has been that most of the people who've been in the club for the longest have retired. They've moved to other warmer climes perhaps, and a lot of people apparently have not had the correct information, and I'll take some blame for that anybody can join. And,
So what are we doing when we're not serving the community? Are there other like sort of club activities, or is there a place you get together, or is it just kind of like what's the vibe in there for the group?
When the club is at sort of operating strength, we would meet twice a month. We used to meet. Let's see. At one point, we used to meet at Absolutely Fabulous, and the food was absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
The latest place that we were meeting was the Rising Eagle, which
Nice.
was also.
Yeah.
So hopefully, a few people just hearing that might become interested in that.
Yeah, you just won hearts and minds with that too. We like to hang out there a lot.
Yes.
Yes, and so.
So here's a hot tip for you. Go hang out at the Rising Eagle during their Music Mondays or Music Saturdays, because that's bringing in a lot of like cool new people that want to
Yeah, so. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good.
Yes. The answer to that is yes. As a matter of fact, just this morning, I was filling out a form for All in Tier, which I believe is the community service. We had some great kids work with us last year at the concession stand. Yes, we definitely want high school students to community service be a wonderful thing for them.
So I think the answer to the LTMM, be careful now, you might get a huge influx. They call it the LTMM effect, but the LTMM audience is invited you to email Kevin directly. He shared his Lions email in the comments here. So please reach out with any questions and we'll see if we can drum up some business. Thank you, Kevin, for coming on. Like, it's been great. I didn't even know we had a Lions Club, and all the wonderful things that you're contributing to and all of that.
Thank you so much. You actually brought up a distant memory. Did you work in Crystal City? Did I hear some mention of Crystal City?
Yeah. That was me. That was back in the 90s.
Well, before I went to law school,
a young virile Tom Catalini was strutting up and down Crystal City.
Crystal City.
Before I went to law school for a few months, I worked at a Radio Shack in Crystal City.
Wow. I remember Radio Shack.
A lot of folks don't know what that means.
We're all dating ourselves.
Yeah, I know.
Kidding, right?
All right.
We're going to delete the last 5 minutes of this show.
We hope to see some prospective future Lions either at Rising Eagle or serving up some hot dogs at the football game, or getting in touch with Kevin. Kevin, it was a pleasure to
thank you so much
and to see you. And I don't know if they briefed you. I came on late. I don't know if they briefed you, but the way we end the show, your dance moves are going to have to really sell it and bring it home, because that's how we end the
ready
show.
to go.
So with that, everybody, go vote next week, party with your candidate, and we will see you around town.